Hey everybody, welcome to the Security Detections MCP 2.1 release party. I hope you are all doing well. First, I want to thank you for actually downloading and using this thing. To those that are, thank you. To those who have yet to try it, check it out, man. It's awesome. It's over here on the NPM registry site. It's under packages. You can get it straight up. Big thing, right, is open source, being able to understand and see what's in this code and how it's working. There's nothing hidden here, so it's all open. You can find everything under source and all the deets. If you look under index, that's where you'll find all the queries and everything like that, and how this works. Anyway, long story short, but all the cool things are here. So 2.1 changes the game quite a bit. Some of the biggest things were added. I upgraded the MCP code for it. In addition, there's a lot of new stuff. There's a bunch of elicitation support in here. I think probably my favorite thing, honestly, as much as like the detection engineering, like intelligence piece is really cool, it does write really good analytics now, better than before, because it now extracts more data from the content when it's indexed. So we went from like 7,000 pieces to like over 10,000. So it expanded the database, but again, it's like still really small because and I'm talking all the content. If you're just doing one or two, it's going to be pretty light. So all the content normalized and extracted, you're looking at over 10,000 pieces. So my favorite thing is the knowledge graph, or what we're calling like tribal knowledge. This allows the LLM, every time it does something, it goes and actually updates the database on its own, saying, hey, this is what I did. And it could either be like, I know I should use these tools next time, or I know that when I run something, I should do it this way. Or I ran a threat report down and I analyzed all this stuff and I'm just going to log it into the database. So it does really good. And you could tell it too through the through Cursor, whatever you're using. Add this to your KB or add this to your tribal knowledge so that next time it's better. I've been using it pretty extensively. I haven't really ran into any issues. I have noticed, because of the version that I'm running, which is a little bit different than kind of what's public, that you'll see, you should see elicitation. I don't see it anymore. I have a lot of skills, Claude Skills built out right now, so things are kind of funky on my side, but I will try to release all of my Claude Skills. I'm worried that a lot of them are more geared towards like how I use it, but maybe you'll find it useful. Maybe it's interesting and whatnot. A couple other things, it can now do dynamic tables. So if Claude or whatnot, whoever's using the MCP needs to, they can create custom tables for whatever it may be. It just adds extra flexibility so that the LLM can add things to it and whatever. So it's really powerful. There is about 71 new tools, or 71 tools in total now. So if you look at the MCP settings, you'll see it's like very, very massive. It does still contain all the everything that we had in the prior release, which is like MCP prompts and everything like that. All that data is still there. It's just extremely enhanced. One of the other things it does too is it does extract now different fields and macro references across KQL, Sigma, Splunk, and Elastic. So it's just more granular in how it works. Something else I did is I added the wiki page here. So if you want to come in and drill in, I had these generated as like I was working on all of it, but you can kind of run through and see how everything really works and operates now. It's pretty cool. There's some diagrams, things like that, just to kind of give a better idea of like, how does this thing actually do what it does? You can get some details in how everything's structured and little pictures, database schema, all that kind of stuff. How it indexes, everything. And that's architecture. So if you look at like the engineering intelligence one or the knowledge graph, you just get like even more information on how it works. This right here is how, or what it's now extracting. This is really powerful because now it's extracting things to help you write better content. So what's really cool, part of the workflow, like we have at STRT, is it allows you to write content very similar to how we write it by hand, and or KQL. If you're working on KQL, same thing. It'll extract all the fields and add that to the DB. It's really powerful. What is this one? Yeah, data model for Splunk Sim, and it just kind of goes. The other one here, this is the knowledge graph one. Why certain detections are created or modified. And again, you can tell Claude, like, update your tribal so that it does this thing the same way as last time. Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of like all that stuff. Let me go ahead and stop sharing, and let's flip over to my instance here. And I was just running a bunch of things, so we're gonna have a bunch of tabs to kind of click through. Wanted to show you just some different things that I've ran it through. So this first one here, I'm just gonna show it this way because it's a lot faster than like watching paint dry, because like you can see there's a lot of actions going on here and it's just busy. So this was this morning. I had a checkpoint new blog, and I was like, hey, use the MCP, process this blog, identify gaps, output a report. So again, I have a lot of skills on this machine, or on this instance, so it kind of does a lot of work. But as you can see, it reviews the blog, starts to get stats. So you can see I have all the analytic data in here. And then it'll start to analyze coverage, like where we have coverage and whatnot, looking for gaps. The other thing too is that Claude has the ability to write reference files with this MCP. So you can see right here, listing out this particular reference file, which is MCP data, or MITRE data. So it's listing out and or adding to it as well. Claude has the ability to add more stuff to another local reference file. So every now and then as you're working through this, you will see files getting output and or written to, and that helps the LLM process this data faster next time and this time. And so this right here, I want to highlight it. This right here, this logged detection piece is when it's writing back to its database. So this is exactly what Claude wrote. He's saying, I analyzed this. This was my decision, found gaps, whatever, general technique stuff, whatever it may be. This is all going back into its database so that next time Claude has even more context about like how I should do something next time. This is the output. This is a standard output. I have a skill that Claude uses every time to kind of have like a similar format, so it just doesn't get crazy. As you can see, tag timelines, key characteristics, MITRE coverage, specifically. And so this reports gets all the content in the database, which is like, 10,000 things. So telling me right here, you do not have a CVE specific piece of analytic. Awesome, or couldn't find one. And then detection gap just starts to rip through all this stuff. Very powerful. Claude does write some SPL down here at the bottom. Whether it's accurate or not, it looks pretty good. I have to test it. Detection 2, just looking for different things. So basically netcon to, one of these from a DLL. Yeah, just kind of goes on and on. And then here at the bottom, just like tells you what you should do, prioritize, whatnot, right? And then on the right over here, just the standard output of like, hey, like this is what I did, and everything like that. So I ran another one, and I'll show you a little bit more. We are going to dive into a little bit of the feature stuff as well. 3.0 is maybe around the corner. I will probably have to back up a little bit of things for 3.0 because there's some stuff in there that maybe is just too much. But yeah, let's check it out. So detection coverage for checkpoint, just kind of having Claude run through it. Actually, I had him run this other one. Yeah, as the checkpoint. It's Connie target developers with AI malware. So same thing, like go look for coverage. What do we have, don't have related to this? You can see, reference. So here's the Connie AI malware analysis gap document. Oh, you know what? I may have changed branches. Same format. It's just the same as the one over here, the Amaranth one. Let me just double check. I think I moved. Nope, it's there. Sorry. So yeah, on the left, this is the full report, detailed, again, telling me this is related to Splunk content. So telling me right down here at the bottom there's these like, I don't know, up to 10 net new-ish analytics that, we could write, telling me here critical gaps, whatever. So now if you're using Cursor, or if you're using, what is it, like Claude, the UI element, you do have the ability to connect agents. There's a lot of agent stuff out there. This instance that I'm going to share is using about, I think it's like 13 or 14 different agents. So what I did is that we use this thing called, there's a main file called Orchestrator. Let me open up the sidebar here so you can kind of get a visual. So on the left are the agents right here. And like I said, there's about 10 or 13. Each one has their own jobs. So we can click on like the coverage analyzer. And the way it works in Cursor is it grants you the ability to specify the model. So you can use any model you want. You could even throw it on like Composer or whatever. You don't need to, use the most expensive model for certain tasks. And you can give it jobs. You can tell it to use certain tools. You could even I think it's one of them in here actually has a skill called out. Yeah, right here, read and follow the skills. So you can specify things, and how you want it to go. And as you can see, I have a lot and they're all pretty detailed. Orchestrator is basically what runs the whole show. So imagine you can use Orchestrator to basically kick off like, hey, create a new branch. From the branch, I need you to reference these skills. And then I need you to go write 9 new detections, and or write 9 new detections or review, do all these different things. And you can see the workflow phase. So first is, doing the CTI analyst, and kind of run down and do all these different pieces. So, and run atomic test and whatever it may be. So this to me is a little bit more workflow driven. And so it's kind of hard to share that publicly because it's like everyone's workflow is going to be different, but maybe I can at least share portions. So yeah, here's like the atomic executor one. It goes and actually runs atomics, and or generates atomics and kicks them off. And yeah, this is like basically Claude running my Splunk MCP. So anyway, that's just like feature-y kind of stuff. I wanted to at least share it just so you can kind of get an idea that, there's quite a bit here. Yeah, so this is the last thing I ran just a little bit ago, just kind of like, hey, how many ransomware analytics are in the detections MCP? Claude just kind of ripped through telling me like, yeah, there's a bunch. How many, help me prioritize. So again, querying the database, coming back, giving me a gap prioritization, like, hey, maybe there's, this or that. You got strong coverage, but hey, you don't have any solid coverage like on the ESXi side or whatnot, or cloud ransomware or whatever, right? Yeah, kind of cool. And then here's a couple other ones like suggest detection. This is kind of a newer, I think this is one of the newer ones, going through and like finding like interesting things. I was trying to get Claude to elicit, but again, I wrote too many skills over here. There's some rules, and then there's also Cursor. Oh yeah, Claude right here, Claude Skills. I have too many skills. And so I think a lot of my skills kind of ruined the elicitation for me, which is fine. Is what it is, but at least at the end of the day, it's still like rocking like really fast. Doesn't really need me to tell it what to do anymore. This right here is just a ransomware detection gap prioritization for the Amaranth Dragon one. So shared TTPs between Amaranth and ransomware. So just like, hey, what's the, coverage difference, whatever it may be. I don't know, kind of cool. Critical stuff, this week you should do this, right? So yeah, anyway, I think in here I told him to go ahead and just create the content. Let's go down here. Tell me within 4 weeks. Check your untracked files. Oh yeah, I got a bunch of stuff untracked right now. Write this. Okay. Yeah, right here. So I went ahead and just said write the analytics. Those are not, that's the filter. Here's the analytic. Windows startup folder, process network network connection. I think this is a join. I thought it was. Yeah, this is a join with all traffic, which looks pretty good. This is the suspicious file extension in a startup folder. So, I mean, maker maximize here. There. If you know SPL, this is basically saying tstats, use data model file system, this is the path, and then these are the file extensions. So you would need to make sure whatever logging method you're using, either sysmon or your EDR, is actually collecting and tracking files, things like that. And so then the other thing that Claude knows how to do based on my skills is to run our security content validation. So content code will validate, and it rips through all that stuff too. So anyway, that's a lot of new content. I hope you find this extremely interesting and powerful. I think these are some pretty solid updates. I will say that, what else? There was a couple questions that did come up regarding vector database. I didn't go with vector database mainly because I didn't think we needed it. Because in regards to just like Sigma or ESCU, Elastic or KQL, I don't think we need that yet. It's not off the table, but I think that with this version of the MCP, you should be able to get almost everything you want out of it. I will see about releasing more of these skills. If you're interested in the skills, let me know. I'll give them out. It's not like magic, right? This is just helpful in writing things better. But yeah, let me know. And keep me posted. And thank you for downloading 2.0. I think it's a pretty big update. So it was like a week ago we released 1. So now we're on 2.1. So yeah, thank you. And let's catch up again soon. If anything, maybe it'll be 3.0 and we'll have subagents running everything, right? So, all right, everybody, have a good day. See you soon. Woo.